So I know we've got a lot of new people, and so if you have questions, start typing them in. But the main thing that I've always had with people is how to narrow down all the things that we're talking about, right? And because I'm going to be talking about a lot of stuff because there's a lot of people doing a lot of different things, right? And we're trying to move around and find new things for you. But it is important to, first of all, stay in touch with me, right? I got to know what you're doing, right? And because I can't help when I get emails from people that aren't posting during the day and saying I'm not following, because I can direct you during the day. I can definitely do that and say, watch these gaps. Like today, I mean, LRCX all day long. I mean, it's all day long. And when you see something grinding like this, I can help you with it because if you keep going into the lows, you might be getting stopped out and be like, I'm shorting into the lows, stopped out. I'm shorting into the lows, stopped out. On a grind like this, you got to come off the highs. You like rev strat here, 15 like that, because at this point, you've got 1, 2, 3 guys to take out, levels of stops. You're coming off what will be a triangle in here, right? But if you're always going into the lows and stuff like this, you're going to have trouble. So, what's the lowest time frame you can use? 1 minute. You can always go down to a 1 minute because if we have evidence that something's going to work, 1 minute is that's fine because everything's going our way, right? And so, Jack, that also go back to when things occur. And so that's why we pay such close attention to the flip, right? Because when, let's say that we have full time frame continuity in either way, right? And then we have a counter trend on the 60. Let's say we're down on all time frames, but the 60 goes green, right? I don't think LRCX did it, but if the 60 goes green, as soon as that thing starts flipping back red, it goes right back into full time frame continuity to the downside, right? And so when it pops up, let's say that it does this. Is that 30? Inside 30. So if there's a 30 here, inside 30, and it hasn't broken yet, but there's an inside 1 that will do it, you can take that, right? You can use those 1 minute participants to trigger the 30 guys. You don't have to, and over time, because you're new at this, you don't have to take that one, right? I like when you call out the stock because you can't always be watching the chat. When you call it out, I look at the symbol. Good, Robin. Yeah, and that's why we got it all, and that's why I try and type as much as I can in and talk about it. And then when you hear me say keep a going, still a going, still a going, as long as we've got more room on that thing, you got all day to go after it. And how to use the stocks displayed in the stocks in play is just a T3 thing. That's not a Rob thing. So you'll notice that those things kind of lined up with what we're doing. So yeah, you can use that as an additional tool. If there's something on there that I haven't seen, check it out because everything's going to line up with what we know, right? That's the good part. You should be trained in the strategy. And so no matter what symbol pulls up, you don't have to go, Rob, is this a good buy or a sell? You just pull it up and be like, look, you know. And then it's a matter of is there anything external about that thing that you don't know that I can help you with? And be like, Rob, this has got this, and I might say, yes, but a number of this is coming out, or it's in a certain group that is actually strong, and then be aware of that. But in and of itself, any single symbol analysis, I want you to be able to do like that, right? Anything. If I give you any symbol, you should be able to rattle off exactly what what the condition of that price is. And if not, you ask, and I'll say this, and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I forgot. That's outside." Never say chart looks good. No, no. And X got out too early. Let's take a look at X. So X, no, because the problem with shorting X is that opens on the low of the month, right? So the weekly and the daily and the 60 can counter that, of course. Weekly's still green, right? So you're counter trending. You're hoping that it comes back ripping through all this stuff, right? You got this outside day, and your hopes is it comes ripping through this stuff, but no, right? So don't worry about it. You had, I mean, it comes in nicely here. It goes inside, down, 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 hammer them out after the gap, and then come back up. But I wouldn't worry about that because you had to be on your toes on that. You needed some help, and the times when I'm going to tell you that you're getting out too early is a problem is when you got full throttle time frame continuity, actionable signals in force, and you're not going into new highs or lows. You got a bunch of pivots you're taking out, and the market's helping you out, or the sector's helping you out. VXX, not necessarily. No, we need some more volatility. We want it to be semis, and I'll show you. I just made a video on the Facebook. Semis is where we wanted to be. We had LRCX puking all over itself, right? This thing's getting killed, right? And SMH did this. SMH went scenario 3, outside day, almost immediately. Here, it was semi-death. Right? That's where we wanted to be because we knew that things were going to tighten up as the day went on because we're pretty sure there was a few moments of like, ooh, maybe SPY's not going to be inside day or Q's aren't going to be inside day. And we're like, yeah, they're going to be inside day. But SMH, outside day, right, which gives you the AVGO going inside month and down, right, all that kind of stuff. So, no, that's where we wanted to be. And probably want to be tomorrow. We got earnings and that stuff and all that kind of things tomorrow. Because one of the things about knowing that we're going inside day is that then time is limited. Usually it's somewhat of an advantage as the day goes on that we gain more information on what's going on. But as far as we knew that was going to happen, we knew things possibly would get worse as far as volatility. That's a bad thing as the day goes on. The condition we want to look to fade, here. So what you want to do is you want to set up different PSARs. This is going to help you a lot. See right now, today, this thing stayed as a buy on the 60, right? But we know it's going to flip into a sell eventually, right? That's a good thing. So we can watch this thing as it's into a buy, but it didn't do anything for us, right? You can watch the 30 or whatever you want. It's still on a buy on the 30, right? That's a good thing, but it means we're not going to touch it because it's going to flip back into a sell. We know that, right? So keeping up certain PSARs on that is a good idea. It's a real good idea because we know it's going to flip into a sell. But at this point, we want to be careful because not only is SPY inside day, right, but it's after an outside day. And so one of the reasons we watch the inside, outside, inside is because of what the sequence is telling us. The sequence right now is telling us expansion of the range, contraction of the range. So tomorrow, if we take out either side of this, potentially we go expansion, contraction, expansion, and we get a bigger move tomorrow. I'm not so sure that's going to happen, but we're certainly aware of that. And with the semis coming in, you know, who's gonna save us, right? That tends to spook them a little bit, especially on a Friday. They might say, "Oh yeah, I'm screwed again. Get out." And then they have to come back in and buy them all up next week. But what you can look for is you don't have to wait for it to break. You can look for sell signals that will break it. So if the PSAR is walking up and you've got like Rev Strat 60 down, you can hit that. Say this thing's gonna die and go right through it. This is gonna die and go right through it. right? So you're just looking for the setups to take it out. But we're having a real, problem here because we've just been so pinned on highs for so long. I just don't want anybody to get hurt when we do have, dare I say, a down month in the market, because it'll seem like after, because the software and the conditions have programmed so many people's minds that, I mean, look, I mean, what was CNBC saying? Major reversal pattern, huge reversal. It's doing nothing, right? Yeah, it's doing nothing. It's like it's because everybody's so programmed at this low volatility, right? One spike in volatility and people are going to freak out, right? And I don't want anybody to get hurt in that. It's going to happen, right? It's going to happen, and you'll be like, "How did VXX go from 26 to 40?" It could do that easily, easily, right? Easily, right? Because we're right there where it could flip back on the long for a little bit. It could easily do that. It will be a beautiful thing when it occurs. I just don't want people to get hurt when it does. But and as you can see, if you did it on the weekly, yeah, 100 to 30. Right. So, I mean, look, if you just do what I say on the long weeklies, and be like, okay, ready? Oh no, it flips and it's long. Is it? Ready? It goes up. It comes back in. Potential scenario three. Is this thing a scenario three machine? It is. Peak cover? No. Ride. Oh no, it's a buy. Is it? Scenario two. Up, down, short. Ride. Oh no, it's a buy. Is it? Inside, down, peak. So just knowing that it's been, doing this for a long time, and we're going to get our spike, and for all I know, it's tomorrow. But they can move. Don't get caught on that. Don't be you don't have to be a hero, right? You can wait till all the noise is over, right? And that's what I tell people a lot. When it is spiking, yeah, we've had to go after it on the few spikes in the last year, but you don't have to. You wait till all the noise is, all the dust is settled, and be like, oh, they aren't going to kill him after all, and then it just gets demolished. But I definitely do get questions. I definitely want to help the people that are trying to focus and know where to focus, because I know it's a lot of information, right? And I definitely would know. Stay in touch with me. Please stay in touch with me during the day. And I would know that weekend video like the back of your hand. You don't have to know it all, but certainly have, some of those setups that we're talking about, or whatever theme that we may be talking about. And, I know not everybody wants to trade Netflix now that things are in the hundreds and all that kind of stuff. I understand that, right? But what are you looking at? What are you doing? Talk to me during the day, because I do customize this for everybody, which is no, which is no, easy thing. Amazon Inside Day. There you go. Boy, they're really killing them, aren't they? Inside Day for the Amazon monthly combo for tomorrow. Because I know that also the scenarios are new. So people who've been with me, I want to make sure everybody gets that too. The scenarios really clean it up and can really get you involved in more things. Max loss rules, how many consecutive losers? I'd have to, you shouldn't be losing. I mean, and like I said, our getting out position if they don't work right. Nice, Joe. That's what I like to hear. And so, Houston, basically, the reason we can have tight stops is we have every when we get if you follow the rules, we have every reason to believe it's going to work, right? Why would this not work? Everybody we know is a buyer, right? And we've got levels of stops that we know we're going after. There's no reason this shouldn't work, right? Biggest challenge is getting out right. And that's where when people's like, how can you possibly have a penny stop? And Gil, are you here? Gil said, he got stopped out in Valerian and all that stuff. I'm like, that's going to happen. That's fine. But when you trade, knowing with all the information that we have, when they work, they really work, right? Yeah, good. They really work, right? So don't be afraid to do battle. Because you see the moves like LRCX and all that kind of stuff. Good question. Slim says, when spine Q go inside in the 60, what does that mean for trading at that time? Right? How does that change what we should be doing and looking for? What that means, that's equilibrium in the futures, right? And so at that point, we want to have a good idea of who we're looking at to go long and who we're looking at to go short, right? It takes out either side of that stuff. Somebody's going to have a headwind, somebody's going to have a tailwind. So if there's somebody that's stronger than the rest of the Qs and the Qs start going up, a la Amazon, we're going to go after Amazon. If there's weakness like LRCX and this Q start going down, we're going to wail on that thing because they got futures tailwinds now on either side. And it becomes really important when volatility gets higher. When you see an inside 60 in the spine of the Qs and the volatility's up, that's a big deal. Right now it goes a little bit, but it's good practice because that can alter the group that we're looking at to go after. Because all the information that we're gathering during the day of who's strong and who's weak, they're about to have a futures headwind or a tailwind when that occurs. Now, it's like I said, it's been more slight in this environment. That will increase as time goes by if volatility goes back up, and it will eventually. And it can also help you too if you're lost and you don't know what to do. You can go after the futures. If you're like, Rob, there's too many things and I don't know what to do, you can go right after Spire Qs. I'm good with that. Well, yeah, longer term time frame might be yearly, but I know what you're saying. So, signal on a longer term frame chart, say 30-minute for a swing, like a 1 or 2 hour. Then it seems like a once and stop is tight. It does, but it should go, right? And so Houston, it's always important to remember, even if you're looking at a 30-minute or a 60-minute signal, you can be looking at the guts of that's going to take it out, right? And that's where we go back to, Jack, with the 1 minute, 5 minute, 3 minute, all that kind of stuff, 15s. If you see the combination that's going to take that 30 out, you take the combination first, right? So variant on the way up, it's like when we're looking at it this morning, and the 15 chopped them up a little bit. You got the hammer, comes in, then goes inside, then comes back down, like in here, like this stuff. But if you look at the guts of it and be like, all right, if this thing works, it's like, what is this going to work right out the chute? You got the fiver, and you got the fiver here, right? Look at the guts of it to see how it all looks, right? And I know that can seem like a little bang bang, but and Houston, also, you can loosen the stop up if we have a lot of information that says it's going to go. And by that I mean time frame continuity, multiple actionable signals, and if we're not going into higher highs or lower lows, do we have pivots to take out? Right? Do you have full time frame continuity? Is it in the S&P? Is it in the Qs? Is it in a certain ETF? The more information you have, the looser you can let that initial stop go. But the reason we do that and the reason I teach that is because when we're right, something really goes and you can add to it the whole time, right? Buy or sell more. Where most people are programmed that their initial position is their initial position. That's it. That's all they're going to do. And if it goes their way, they're going to slowly peace out. If they're wrong, they're going to get out somewhere. We don't do that. I want you to be able to look forward ahead. If this works, I can add to it, and it's going to create something. If this works, it's going to create the rev strat of the week, which we can buy more, which then creates the inside month to the upside where I can buy more again, right? We always want to be looking down the road on all this stuff. Nice. For tomorrow's Friday lottery call on Amazon or something put on a week's semi, can you give an example of how to play at the open? Bob, we got earnings coming out. We got to see how it works. So because you got Facebook inside day, right? And so because of the lotto, because of the later day lotto, we might not know until later in the day, right? And by that I mean if we start to take out the inside days to the downside and the SPY and the Qs, and then slowly drift up later during the day and go inside 60 with an hour to go, and it starts blasting up to go outside day, that'll give us the real good lottos. Or conversely to the downside where they crush them, right? So for a Friday, we got to let them open and then work through it. Yeah, work through it. Hornswoggle them, I like to say. A nice late day rev stratter. That would do it. All right, right on the strike. And there you go. See that? 1, 1, 1, 1, 63. Perfect. That's what we want. You're doing battle, right? Yeah. Like a lot of people tell you, they're not used to doing that. Oh, we'll just let it play out. I'm like, no, we're not. I'm not. We have every reason to believe it's going to go. And so, if there's a participant in there we can't identify, we'll keep battling with him, but we're not giving him any more than a penny. You get a penny. What? You get a penny. You get a penny. Ready? Now I'm gonna hit you in the face again. Bam! That's all you're getting out of me, man. Penny. Because we know when we're right, they go. As you've seen. Why would it not go up? Everyone we know is a buyer. Oh, some douchebag in there didn't get the memo. All right, let's chew through him. How would you adjust to spreads of 20, 30 cents? Take your size down. All right. Like there was a time when like price line, I'm like, I don't care if you trade one share, just get in there. Thing's moving 150 bucks, right? Yeah, no, I'm saying same deal. You just got it's got to go 1 cent below the bid or above the offer. I don't want that thing changing. If they take out, so be it. But it's once again, it's because of the evidence we have. All right. If you do this in anybody else's system, you're gonna get murdered because they don't know. All right. Oh, I give it a risk reward of. Oh, do ya? No. Everyone we know is a buyer. It's rev stratting these guys, and this 5 minutes going to trigger these guys, which will trigger those guys, which trigger those guys. Right? And so I know, Gil, too, a lot of people won't trade things that have big spreads. And that's fine. Not everybody's going to trade the price lines and the gigs of the world. That's fine. Get yourself an inside week in FCX and kick back. Look at this. Bam. Here you go. Gone. All right. Because before you even were with me, right, you've done battle, you just did it worse and let it have more than a penny stop, which means that there's no way you were getting back into something, right? If you use a penny stop, you have no problem getting back in. Right? It's a little more work, but you haven't gotten put through the ringer like the other guys have. Let's say you get stopped out for a penny by a few times. When does the signal become invalidated? Changing continuity. So if you got a new 60 or something and it changes on you, otherwise, if that signal's still good, that signal's still good. We're just chewing through one guy we don't like. Because if that occurs, if that continues to occur at the same spot, there's a battle they're going right on. Right now, more often than not, if you get stopped out a lot, the triangle's going to get bigger. Right. And so what that'll do is that'll change the situation. You'll have a bigger type of a triangle. But if it's right at the same penny, we're just motoring through some guy that doesn't care about his order. Like, he's just like, I just got to sell this stuff. I'm like, here, yeah, okay, we'll get through it. My charting software is neovest.com. www.neovest. Tell them Rob sent you. Stop market. Oh, no. Stop limit. You can get carried out. Gotta go. We want outski. We want outski. Even if it slips on us, I don't care. Right. Yeah. It'll be like, oh no, it went through and I didn't get out. And then it comes back up through and then takes you out on the way back up on the through the try. Oops. Yeah, it's no good. But most importantly for newer folks too is like, are you seeing it all? I want you to be able to see this stuff only in these terms. You got all your squiggly lines off your charts and all this stuff. See it only in these terms, because you'll see them like, oh man, guys are getting shoot up like in here. You can shoot up. I'm like, yeah, they are. Right? You can see that, and you'll see like, oh man, I think it's going up. Oh no, it's going down. Oh, another lower low. This is when they throw in the towel. Bam. Right. Yeah, yes. I mean, if it's liquid enough, you can go up a few cents and just bang. But for the most part, use the limit. Just take the offer, right? Because we always want to throw the first punch because we're expecting them to go down on either side, right? Not afraid. Like, don't try and sit on the bid because I don't want to get hit, right? I'm doing the punching. I'm going to hit these guys as hard as I can, and you better go down. There's no reason to believe that this offer is not going to vaporize as soon as I take it, to a certain extent. But because if it doesn't, topo try. I just topo try. Why is this not going up? It should be going up. But is everybody clear about the scenarios too? I want to be very clear about that everything can be quantified through the scenarios too. It's not just the actionable signals now. Using the scenarios is very key. Knowing what scenario we're in at all time. And what reversals and what continuations look like. We're breaking the inside bar. As soon as that's offered above that inside bar, I'm taking it. I'm breaking the equilibrium, yes. Because I got friends behind me that I can expect because of time frame continuity. Yeah. That equilibrium, bam. Throw the punch. Throw the punch. Because in good situations, like when you're coming off bottom of the triangle or heavy momentum, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get another chance for a while. And then you'll be like, "Oh, I missed it." Like, be the guy that causes it, because anybody else is hesitating. If it has full time frame continuity to the upside, we know everybody's a buyer. Maybe it'll come in. I'm like, guess what? I'm going to make sure it don't. Now go chase my stock. Run it, boys. Breaking the balconies. That's exactly what's going on. We're triggering that because when it's in force and it's all this stuff is happening, keep pushing them over the balcony. Keep pushing them over, right? Because everybody's got their breaking point, and because of time frame continuity and all that stuff, we can identify where that is and when things change. Even on the LRCX weekly, here, if you go to, not only was it a daily disaster, this is daily puking, but as it did this, the weekly went back red. Here, party on the balcony? Not anymore. Not anymore. Open at 208.40. And that's when in the course when I talk about change. You're up, you gapped up, and you're up for the week. You come through here going underwater badly, and because it gapped up, they're all still in, right? I don't have to sell this thing. It's gapping up for me until she come back through here. Guess who's screwed? Everybody. Top of a monthly triangle? Yeah, well, the thing is, we want to see that there's a change in continuity, a new month, right? You don't always have to catch the top of the triangle. If it's big enough, it's going to just keep going. That's the beauty of this. When you get the big triangles, they just keep going, like the fleur, right? You don't necessarily have to catch this inside month down in here if you're swinging it, right? Although it's nice, right? But once you can identify the triangle, you start ripping back through here. This is what I'm telling you. Is like when people say I missed it. Once we identify these big triangles, no, you didn't. It's like, oh, I missed it. I missed buying that right here. No, you didn't. So much buying opportunity all the way up, right? Because people are used to not catching very big moves. Most traders don't catch very big moves, and right, they're not looking for this kind of stuff. Get in, get out. Get in, get out. Get my scalp, right? We know because of this stuff, when we're right, these things are really going to go. As you've seen. As you've seen. And so that's why I understand if people come to me and it's a little bit new of I'm getting out too early because you're not used to seeing these kind of moves. Well, you're used to seeing them. You're just not looking, being involved or being around people that are involved. Full time for new month starts February 1, right? But new month plus new week is February 5th, yes. But because the thing is, so February 1st is next, was that Wednesday? So Wednesday, the weeklies will still be in force when the monthlies start, right? That's a good thing because we uncouple that following Tuesday. If we do it on a weekend, we don't uncouple for a week and Tuesday. Thursday's February 1st. Okay, so those weeklies will still be in force, right? So the question is, will the weeklies trigger the new monthlies? That's what we'll be looking at there. But the monthly gets vaporized. So like I said, it's when things occur. And so that's important because not only on the monthly and the weekly, but that's why we watch the flip, right? And that's why we watch the second week of the month. All this February is going to reconfirm or negate what we know about January in anything, right? It's going to reconfirm or negate it, right? It can either go inside and stall out from whatever it was doing. It can go scenario 2 and take out one side of January's moves, whatever it is. Or it can take out one side and go potential 3, right? But that's all brand new on the monthlies come Feb 1. And so that's why like the second hour reconfirms the first hour of the day. Tuesday, turnaround Tuesday, reconfirms or negates what we know about the beginning of the week on Monday. And so Apple could go. Apple's doji month, so it could go red month tomorrow. Red week, right? And Feb 1 would reset all that. Yeah, and you're just in tight triangle business because right now for the month, although it's gone up and come in, it's still doji month. Now, at this point, it would be shooter. And you see that triangle that we might get out of it. In general, it's doing nothing, right? So as much as Here's another thing that's important: not to program your mind too much to see. Oftentimes, like if this, let's say this was the end of the month, right? You'd be looking at this. Most people would look at this, and they'd say, "Oh, it couldn't hold the highs. Couldn't hold the highs. It's going to take these out for sure." That's not true. That's not true. What it means is potential. What could have happened here, right? The buyers stepped up and pulled back, right? Stopped out the shorts. Buyers pulled up, stopped out the shorts, and pulled back. But they're still there, just real gradual, right? So they could just open here and start running again, right? So don't always program your mind to see what you want and to say, I want these shooters to take out. Because if we don't know that and the month opens and start going higher, that's a good thing. That means not only were they aggressive to pay up here and back off, now they're going to take them all out and really get aggressive on the buy side. Not saying that's going to happen, but I just don't want you to program your mind to see hammers and think they're going up and see shooters and think it's going down. That's not necessarily true. Oh, yeah, and they got earnings coming out, so that may have something to do with it. Thank you, thank you. All right, I'll do my best. But yeah, like I said, I want to make sure that everybody's really clear on the scenarios because that can really help you understand what's going on. When we go, what is Apple two 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 two? As far as we know, this thing's still taking out the highs and putting in higher lows, right? Twos tell you that this is from here inside two 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 two. That's still an uptrend as far as we know. Now the 2-2 reversal that would be something we'd want to know about, but up to this point, 2-2-2-2-2 upside. Making sense? Good. There's an event thing that acts like a time marker before the event, after the event, even if the event is not on a weekday time marker. Time frame, what you're talking about event continuity? Yes. Yeah, without question. So when earnings come out, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's in the course. It's like, yes, or news. So on Wednesdays and Thursdays when the natural gas comes out, and Wednesdays when the oil inventory number comes out, yeah, that's a new continuity level, definitely, because it changes the perception of the participants, how they're going to act. It definitely, without question, and that's why on Wednesdays, when the crude oil number comes out, not only do we know the opening of the day, I want to know what happened when that number came out. All right, that's a new continuity level, without question. Now, most earnings come out after the close, or before, so it lines up with the day. But yeah, it's in like a Fed day when that used to mean something. Yeah, that matters too. Without question. Without question. So in the course, when I talk about change, you want to know that level for the rest of the day. Because if it comes back through there, that's a change. Changing is important. Just like the LRCX weekly, changing that thing back red today, that's a big deal, right? If you're long, you got what you wanted. They beat their earnings. They gap them up. They got what you wanted. But once it comes, anybody who was long this week went underwater right here, right there. Everybody. Everybody. That's what we want to know about. The news is good, yet everyone is wrong. I think we should hit it right here and see what they do. Puke. Is mad at first, happy now. And that's where, dude, you can get right back in. That's why I did the Facebook vid again. Like, when you see this gap coming back through this stuff, you can hit this thing as soon as this thing goes back red. When it pops its head up, you can hit that thing, right? Or you can hit it right here because we know if it hits this, then it's potential 3. Hit it. And that thing just got crushed out of that. Just straight crushing. Ready? Gap. Ready? As soon as it goes red again, pound it. Just like the cat. Opens on the highs. As soon as it takes out yesterday's highs, here, hit it. 172.45, hit it. And then the 15, the 2, right? The gap up, 2. Think this thing's going 3? Yeah. Hit the 2 right there. There's the 2, continuation. Bam, hit it. Much like the General Dynamics daily on the upside. Get 2, 3, 2. As soon as it goes, just take it. Just need a couple, right? Like Bryce said, just a couple a day. And even one of these things, Bry, is bigger than most people's trades they've ever had. I've been in this career a long time. Some of these people never make a trade like that. You made $6 an hour? I'm like, yeah. Because we're expecting all this. Yeah, it used to be that guy. Sitting there doing battle, building triangles and pulling your hair out. And maybe you guessed on earnings once or twice and got lucky, but because of all this stuff, we're expecting this stuff to happen. Thus the penny, thus the huge gains. That's COHR, and I know everybody's not going to trade stuff like this, but that COHR did it again. That's the 2-2 weekly talked about. This thing went 2-2 weekly down at 302.82. There you go. It's like $30. I can't stay short during this. I'm like, okay, well then get short when it hits this thing again. It goes red today. Open at 286. Bam. It's $13. Or hit this thing when high of 286.37. Hit that thing too. After hours pre-market? Oh yeah, it all matters. Definitely matters. You'll have invisible rev strats. You'll have invisible hammers. All that kind of stuff that you can't see. Oh yeah, that matters. Don't want to drive yourself nuts over it, but back when LinkedIn was a stock, I mean, it had like after hours spikes like $50 and then come puking down. It's something you want to know about because it actually happened, right? And that's why sometimes you'll hear us say it's been a lot lower. They brought it back, and sometimes what they'll do is they'll bring it all the way back to unchanged and go a little bit higher high, stop all the guys out who are short, and then repuke. So yeah, we want to know about that. I just don't have the time to go through it all. And that's why when you break down your universe and what you're looking at, I got a pretty good idea. I'm watching a lot, so. But yes, it matters because it actually traded there. It depends. I mean, if there's no volume on it, it depends on how important it is and how it lines up with everything else we know. You don't have to keep it up all day. Take a look at it. Especially if it's significant and it's going to change anything we know about what we're looking at. You can take a look at Intel, yeah. Just like any other the charting things that we look at, what is it exactly? Is its significance? Is what we want to know. Is it setting up the invisible Rev Strat 60 right on the opening? Puke. Could be. Right. The good thing is it seems like everybody's seen everything, and that's good. Seems like everybody's really working pretty well, to tell you the truth. Because you're pretty well prepared. Well, I do my best. I just never like to confuse, just never like to confuse people. So scenarios are a big deal, right? It is a big deal, and that's why when I figured it out and I started laughing and being like, "You're gonna love, you're gonna love this," it just cleans it up so much. It allows you to get in more. It allows you to just put it one, two, three. What is it, right? And the hardest part about going to be about that is it a three? Not yet, but it certainly could be. And just simply knowing that threes exist and going after them, and that's where the penny stop comes in. Because if this thing goes three, you're going to clean house, right? Do we know things go three? We do. Do you know where they're likely to go three? We do, right? And so as soon as I possibly can, no promises in the next week anyway, but in the next month or so, next 2 months, I'll try and add that to the course. I think I'm pretty clear in the video, but that needs to be broken down into the course because it just does. Because reversals can be quantified. Potentially juicy number sequences. The 3-3. Well, a lot of it we already know. So if we go to like Facebook this week, we already knew about that. And so there's scenarios with actionable signals, right? Something we already knew about. The 3-2-2, which is really just outside bar countered with hammer. Back into the try. And the 1-2-2 is a rev strat and all that kind of stuff. The greatest story ever sold on my YouTube, Smiths in the Black. Yeah. Sure. So letter X. X does this. X. It's month and upper. It's green on the week. All right. Comes into the day. Opens and tries to go higher and comes back in. So, if you go to the 60, 60 is a major signal, right? If it's going to reverse, it goes up, it goes inside shooter. This is the 2-1-2 reversal. All right. Up, inside shooter. Wherein, if it breaks to the downside, previous color is green, inside neutral, red. Right? Still multiple pattern. Right? But you could take that. Right? It's not total drug of choice, but you are coming off higher highs. If it's going to puke, that's what it's going to do. Right? So it comes in here. Multiple bar 60 pattern. You can hit that. All right. Then, once it takes this out, now you got the potential triangle. Because here, and what's very important about the scenarios is once you go one, once you have a one, the previous bar matters, right? Because it reverts to a one anytime you don't get out of the mother bar. So this went down, but then closed out. So this high and that low matter, right? That's an inside 2 hour. Boom, take them again. This low was 26. 27. This reverted into a 3-hour inside pattern where you could hit it again. Now, granted, it popped up and it's not clean, but it is what it is. So then at this point, it goes 60 hammer after triangle day out, right? 60 hammer. That's now. If this thing comes back up enough, you can retake this and put it into full time frame continuity because it opened here. So you can take that hammer. If we go to the 30, see this inside 30. Hammer takes it, goes up, can't take this out, reverts back to a 1. That's a problem, right? Because this is 1, 2, but reverts to a 1, and then 2's on it. Goes down, 2, 2. Inside, that's 1, 2. That's 1, 2. Takes this thing out, finally, 2, hammer, and then tries to go back up. 15. 15 chop shop. Ready? Run sheep run. Inside 15. 15 down. That's 2, 1. Couldn't take that out. Boom. Comes back up. That's 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And so if you hear a bunch of 2s, you're either trending or getting chopped up. So like I said, I'm today not total drug of choice, but you can hit and run it with the options. But that's why I'm trying to find stuff like the semis or whatever we want to be, where the whole group is falling apart or doing something. Because one of the things I first looked at when it was going, I was like, "Ooh, steel, steel," and I went to Nucor. Like, no, steel. No, it's not steel. It's an X thing, right? That's a problem. That means they're not buying them across the board. That's what we want. Yeah. If you're going to counter, you better. Otherwise, you're countering into full time frame continuity. You're just going to get bowled over. The 60 at least gives you a chance. Yeah, at least gives you a chance, and that's why guys shorting Boeing just get carried out. Like, really, this is your short idea? Short idea? Really? Sure about that? So here, guys getting carried out in here. There's no way the guys who are shorting in here got any of this, right? They're not going to do that. And what are you guys really fighting for? You know, a counter trend move. Ideally, the reason you want to take a counter trend move is, well, maybe something like Boeing, where there's enough points to get something out of it. Ideally, you want a counter trend where there's going to be a change in continuity, where it's going to mess them all up, right? Because at the time of LRCX, you could say this is counter trend, or when you took it up here, right? Month green. When it opened, week was green. Full time frame continuity upside. But then, if this works, now you're going to take them all back the other way, right? But when you have things that are just bright green on the month or bright green on the week, you ain't turning those things around. Those things aren't coming in. Because there's so many people jammed on the wrong side already, right? Anytime it comes in, those guys are looking to get out. It's like when you bottom pick or something, you know that as soon as it starts to turn back over, you're gonna get out, right? And all the guys who are looking to get out, anytime it starts to roll back down, they're doing the same thing, right? But if you can change that, right? If it's weak enough to change all that stuff, like I said, these weekly guys, you cold cock these guys. Earnings, it'll just bounce, it'll be fine. Bam, puke. Hey, Laura. I'm sorry, what were you asking about? HP, Hewlett Packard, or Helmerich Payne? Helmerich Payne. So, Helmerich Payne's still hanging tough. So Helmerich Payne's still weekly Momo hammer up and still looking at that big weekly. Sorry, monthly. Here. Because the good thing is, this triangle is actually higher than that. And this is what makes the This is what makes some of the triangles very difficult. Is when it comes down and takes these guys out, but not them. Nobody who bought it here could stomach this and all the way back down. Nobody, right? And yet, this is a higher low. That's a good thing. All painful as it is, and that's why this will occur on even shorter term time frames. It's like you might still be right, but you're not going to stomach 95% of your profits going out the window before it really goes, right? That's why we do battle. Yeah. So still, subute, right? So far, so good. So far, so good. I just did look at the Wayback Machine. Oh, you mean the real Wayback Machine used to be somebody type of thing. Get. Get. And you'll notice here, this made it difficult. Outside month, tried to hammer back into it. I don't think so. Failed hammer. And this is what I'm talking about when you're like, oh, it's a hammer, get in there. Failed. Okay, coming up on an hour here. I'll be right back. I just use the restroom here. I'll be right back. It's still recording. If you guys got anything more, we'll stay on it. Usually I like to stay on as long as I can, just due to my health. But if you have questions, start typing them in. I'll be right back. We'll finish it up or keep going. Okay, it's back. Okay. And don't forget all the little guys. PDS. How's PDS doing? So even PDS here for the month, 308 come 374. Ain't bad. Ain't bad. HCN's got problems. So the problem is with the REITs being inside year and down. Want to be aware of that. So HCN, you'd want to at least, we got to get rid of this month, right? This is a problem, right? Because on the month you want to at least go 2-2 reversal and go take it up, right? If you go to the weekly here, at least on the week you got the 2-2-2 reversal coming back up, right? The monthly going to be the problem. These REITs are on the run right now, so you can take it. You just have to defend it. And watch the rest of the REITs like OHI, stuff like that. Stuff's going to be like that. The monthly's the issue. OHI a little better, trying to hammer up. Rev Stratter. And O and triple N and but all the REITs are different, you know, what they're actually REITing, you know, so and so for newer folks and older folks alike, you can take anything, you just have to defend it. All right? Weatherford. Come on, baby, get. Get. Slow going. But slowly she turned. Now just stalling out a little bit. But if she can make the turn. And the good thing is you don't have to watch oil tick by tick anymore, as long as it stays over 60 and stuff like that. You know? All right, Brian, we'll see you if you're still there. But CLF did the gap in reverse. So, different story. Still higher low here. You made the higher high. But now you got your outside weak. Rev Stratter style. How are we going to get out of this? So, on the assumption that tomorrow doesn't take out the highs, you got that. And then it's a matter of these guys took out all this. It's going to be weak enough tomorrow to take that out. So let's say that it's not, and it goes like this. Boom, 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 boom. We got to get outside of that stuff. And a good chance of inside day palooza. Because even if it does get into here, how are you going to get outside of here? That's a long way to go. So. Mm-hmm. So newer folks, everybody getting everything. I think everybody's pretty much catching on. And AV, and so here's CLF. You can look at the 62. You can see this real well, clear. These guys, up in here. I mean, you can draw it any way you want, but And AVGO's got to take the month. That's monthing down now. That's a problem. That lies in the problem. You're running out of month, somewhat. But unless you can take that back up, no. Got a daily triangle down in here. All right, I'm working on it. So you got some more stuff down in here, maybe 240, stuff like that. Wipe them out. But then you got to turn all that stuff back around. We just don't have the evidence right now. It's on the lows of the month. The January debacle. All right, but on that note, I think everybody's doing well, and over an hour here. That's good. Sometimes we go a lot longer. Right now, let's take care of my health. Make sure everybody's getting it. Come in. We got Friday, so we can look at some cheapo options. Got a lot of inside days. Obviously, we're going to look at that. But it does seem like everybody's getting it. It's a matter of putting it all together. So, nightly video's already posted. Oh yeah, and a video on Facebook. So you got 2. All right, and you got this that's recorded. So all the Rob and all the Strat you could ever want, and and the weekend video will be out tomorrow night if it kills me. So on that note, all right, everybody, looks like everybody's catching on. We're doing well. All right, I'll see you all bright and early in the morning. All right, have a good night.